Good morning, everyone. Man, we are just cruising right here through the school year. We have just this 1 week left of the quarter. Most of your grades are all completely updated. I have some retake stuff I need to throw in there, but then that's pretty much going to be it. So make sure you just get your homework in. Anything within the last 7 days, obviously, like I say, get that stuff done if you don't have it done. And we'll just be cruising right on here into spring break and then the fourth quarter. So that's exciting. We have a couple things to learn about this week. And then we are going to get ready for our test on Friday. That test will obviously not go on this quarter. It's going to go on next quarter. And that will pretty much be, we have 3 tests then next quarter. 3 tests, I think. And so that'll be kind of your first grade, and I'll grade those over spring break, and you'll have a nice little break and come back and only have 2 more tests for the whole year. So that's awesome. So today we're going to talk about exterior angles, interior and exterior. So an exterior angle are kind of interesting. Let's say we had a triangle. An exterior angle is basically so first of all, these are interior, the angles that we can see. Exterior is what happens when you just would have kept this line going. So this angle right here is an exterior angle. This angle right here is exterior. This angle right here is exterior. So if I just keep this line going in any direction or whatever, the angle that it creates, if this was still a straight line, is an exterior angle. So there's some interesting things that hopefully you guys can see here. For example, we see that this interior and this exterior come together to make a straight line. So we should have already learned about that then. We know that those are going to be supplementary. So interior is always supplementary to exterior. And that's going to be true no matter what the shape is, right? If it's a parallelogram, if it's a pentagon, if it's a dodecagon, doesn't matter. The interior and the exterior are always going to come together to make this 180 straight line. So that is a kind of a cool, interesting thing that's going on. But there's also this other relationship that we want to talk about. And so let me draw it out for you. And then we can talk a little bit about angles. So let's say we had a triangle. It looks like this. Just pretend like all my lines are straight. And I'm going to throw this line out there. And let's talk about some angles. Let's say that this angle in here is 52 degrees. This angle's 30, probably 43. And then I'm going to label angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, and angle 4. Okay? So, some interesting things that I want to talk about. We have this triangle. These up here would be exterior angles. Right? Because they're basically what happens if I keep my line going. And you can see that because it's going to make a straight line with the interior angle. Down here, these are not exteriors because they're not supplementary to my interior. This one would look something like this way, right? If it was an exterior angle. But those ones are both going to be exterior angles. So we're going to find out some interesting things here. Hopefully you guys think they're interesting. I think they're interesting, so that should be good enough for you. And then we'll just do one more picture, and then I'll kind of be done. So first of all, we can kind of find angle 1 down here, because all 3 of these angles we know have to be a straight line, so that's going to have to all add up to 180. So these two are 95, so that's going to make this one 85 degrees. Because all 3 of these have to be supplementary. Hopefully you guys can see that with the straight line. But then what's interesting is that this line is actually parallel to this line, right? This line and this line are parallel. So knowing what we know about parallel lines, let me use a different color here. You guys can see that we have this interesting thing happening here with this angle and this angle, right? If you notice, those are actually alternate interior angles. So 2 is going to be 43 degrees. And if you look at this, that actually happens on the other side. This one and this one are also going to be alternate interiors. So that means 3 is 85 degrees. And then, of course, to find 4, we can just do 180 minus 43. I can totally do that, right? And that's going to give me 137. Something like that. Now, what I want to show you, now that we kind of filled this whole thing in, is there's this really cool thing about exterior angles and what's called remote interiors. So we found out this angle here is 137. So really, because this is an exterior angle, you can add together the remote interiors to get this angle. So when I say remote interiors, remember my interiors are like inside the triangle. The one next to it is not remote, it's adjacent. So that means the other 2 are called the remotes. So if I took 85 plus 52, that's actually just going to give me 137. And so an exterior angle is always going to add up to the 2 interior remotes of that other triangle. We didn't find this one, but if you want to see how big would this be, well, we can do 180 minus 85, or we can just add up the 2 remote interiors from it. So here's an exterior. If we do 43 plus 52, that's going to be 95 degrees. And what's interesting there is that, again, if you do 180 minus 85, you can see it's going to be 95. So the exterior angle is always going to add up to the 2 other remote interiors. That's only for a triangle, but it's super cool. And something that's really interesting to do with exteriors. And that kind of leads us to cool pictures that look, I should have, we'll see. All right, so it looks kind of like this. Ooh, that's like the worst line ever drawn by man. Okay, so let's say, here's that. And let's say we know this is 162. And we want to know angle 1. And yeah, that sounds good. Oh, let's make it more fun, shall we? Let's say this one here is 88 degrees. Okay. So they're interesting. And then we'll throw a number 2 down here. Make sure you guys can see that. Okay. Oh yeah. Great video quality today by your producer. All right. So here's what's interesting. This 162 is an exterior angle to this triangle here. So I know I could find this angle if I wanted to because they're supplementary. And then if I wanted to, I know, do you guys remember this? I don't know, we're going to talk about it a little bit more in the next unit. But every triangle is 180 degrees, always. So we know this angle, we know this is 90 because it's got the little box in there. So we could find this angle, we could find this angle, we know what it is, and then we could see what adds up to 180, and that would give me 1. But I don't even have to do that because I know that an exterior angle has to be the 2 remote interiors, angle 1 plus 90, added together. And so to find this angle 1, pretty easy here. We just got to subtract 90 from 162. And angle 1 is going to give me 72 degrees. Pretty cool. But this one's going to be different. However, we can use the same method, right? So this is also an exterior angle to this triangle. You guys see that? Pretty cool. So I could say that angle 2 is going to be 162 equals 88 plus angle 2. And then I can just subtract the 88 from both sides. And I could see that this is going to be 74 degrees. So I can use that, add the 2 remote exteriors, and they have to add up to the interior. To the exterior. And I can use that information to kind of find the angles I want. And that's kind of the puzzles that you're going to solve for homework tonight. Just kind of solving those, figuring out what the angles are. A little bit with interior and exterior being supplementary to each other, but just kind of messing around with exteriors a little bit. All right? That should be pretty good for a Monday. I'll see you guys on the flip side.